Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 13th of January. Starting with the FTSE 100, where we've had that rising trend channel there from February last year, top of the channel there running towards 10,190. That's our near-term target, so a bit of few points to shoot for up there, and then through 10,190. End of day close above that, we're looking for the top of the October rising trend channel. That's heading for 10,500, and we're looking for that as soon as the end of next month. On the downside, hoping that any forays, any rug pulls will be around the 10 to down to no lower than 10,000, although maybe one has to pencil in 99.50 just for those stop losses, which will undoubtedly be in that region. That's also the floor of the rising trend channel from October. Moving on to the DAX, where after a rather slow start, it's actually pushing into record territory, even better than the FTSE at the moment. Rising trend channel there from April. Top of the channel there, 25,800. We're looking at that by perhaps by the end of this month. And after that, we can perhaps increase the upside target to the upper parallel of that rising trend channel heading towards 27,000, but maybe that's something for February, March time, not February. On the downside, 24,700, the old October resistance, and that's what we're hoping will stem any losses if there is a rug pull. The Dow is next, and here you can see that we are perched just below the all-important 50,000 level. That's the top of a rising trend channel there from February. And looking for that hopefully by the end of next month. 50,200 is a July resistance line projection, 50,300 in fact. Maybe that's for the end of February, but in the near term, I think 50,000 probably the area to look for. I'm not expecting a big push to the upside, but if we do get one, then that lilac line there from November, as high as 51,000 or even up to 52,000 rather, could be in store. Upside valid, certainly while we're above recent support and old resistance around 48,800. So basically, the upside there valid while we're above 48.8 at least. The other point to note, we've got all these multiple RSI rebounds that we've had at and above neutral 50. So what's it, 4 or 5 that we've had? Very strong setup, and that means that some people will be dreaming of the 52,000 area in coming weeks for this market. Worst case at the moment would be a rug pull down to the 50-day line, but you can see since the end of November, any dips have been bounced above that 50-day moving average, so a very strong situation. Moving on to the cryptos, which continue to be the Achilles heel in the major markets, but at least today, we managed to complete our rebound in Bitcoin, or so far complete the rebound in Bitcoin above the rising 50-day line there at just under 89, or just under 90,000 in fact. Above 90,000, looking for a minimum towards 95, best case up to 106, and the 200-day line by the end of next month. We're really lucky by the end of this month, but that seems unlikely. RSI 50 rebound, so that together with the sideways shuffle above a rising 50-day line gives this market at least 2 strong signals, and might be the reason that some of the Bitcoin Treasury stocks are stirring on the upside in recent days. Ethereum is next, and here it's also about the 50-day line. You can see that we've had recent price action at well above the 50-day moving average. We've also had 2 bounces now for the RSI at and above neutral 50 on the RSI scale. So this is also a leading indicator on the upside. Initial target here around 33, but really looking for as high as 3,600 by the end of next month, which is the October resistance line and the 200-day moving average there at 36.35. If we do break down, then the April support line there, the uptrend line there, around 2,900 would be the destination, and that would be a potential area for people to place limit orders on this market, obviously looking for the upside. Moving on to gold, and after a strong start to the week, we consolidated at the better levels, 45.60, the old December resistance, and we're holding above that, looking for up to 48.20 by the end of next month, and hoping that any rug pull won't be any lower now than 43.20, which is the floor of that channel there from October. Worst case, we're going to have another blink and you missed it test of the 50-day line, 42.48. And again, if you want to try and get a sneaky entry on the upside, then a limit order in that area, just around 42.50, could be the thing to do. Moving on to the stocks, and we've got Andrada coming up here, just to nudge the 4 pence level, which is obviously a time for great celebration. Long-suffering shareholders here. You can see that we've got rising 50 and 200-day lines there. We've had an RSI 50 rebound, another higher RSI rebound. Looks as though we are finally on our way, just given the RSI pattern there and the behavior near the 50-day line, looking for 5 pence plus by the end of next month, the top of that rising trend channel from October 2024. Ideally now, there's no end-of-day close back below the 50-day line, 3.4 pence, and I suppose we can celebrate the rise of tin. Moving along to Arkle Resources, and here you can see that there's been a rising trend channel there, basically since the autumn of 2023. We've been looking for 0.64 as the target there, while we're above the 200-day line there at 0.33. You could probably make it a bit tighter than that. So while there's no end-of-day close back below the 50-day line at 0.4, looking for 0.64, perhaps by the end of next month. Bezant was one of the best performers of last year, and I think it was up 4x, which is amazing. Currently, we've got a bounce above the 50-day line there at 0.008. Ideally, we stay now on the right side of 009 and head up to the top of the channel, the top of the range there, as high as 0.16 by the end of next month. Nice RSI 50 rebound there to go with the bounce above the 50-day moving average. Covered Celsius now and again, and it looks as though it's time for things to start moving. 0.71, the top of the channel there from back in October 24. Next level up to 1.04, looking for that by the end of next month while we stay above the 0.72 level, or at least that top of that channel there, around that 0.72 level on an end-of-day close basis. Moving on to one of the stock market's newcomers, and Delta Gold. Here you can see that we've just broken, after falling rather further than we were expecting. We've broken a line of resistance there from the middle of last month through the 14.5 pence level. Above that, looking at the top of the range and the top of the channel as high as 25 pence by the end of next month. It's a punchy call, but we've had two RSI 50 rebounds. We've got the 50 and 200-day lines both rising as well. So maybe this time we are in business. 80 Mile is one that is a stock which seems to be garnering a lot of enthusiasm at the moment. The big break here was the break of the 50-day line there at 0.58. Now looking for the shares to get up to a penny, especially while there's no end-of-day close back below old resistance around 0.79. I suppose that's today's support as well. So above 0.79, looking for a penny in pretty short order. E-Star is next, and here the complaint has been that even though the news flow has been fantastic and the joint venture news, etc., shares haven't performed quite as well as they should have. Perhaps the company not been communicating itself quite as well as it should have. The upside now currently up towards that red resistance line there, which I'm rapidly drawing at the moment. So 5 pence on the cards while we're above recent support around 3.1 pence, looking for 5 by the end of next month. I can probably take that line away now as well. So let's see if E-Star can deliver the goods. Moving along to Eagle Eye, which had decent contract news today, and here gapping to the upside. We've had gap to the upside back in July as well, and also in November. So it seems to be the case that the shares gap when they're excited. We did have a failure back in December, but hopefully this time we'll keep on moving and hit the top of that channel there. Size £3.65 by the end of next month, while we're above the floor of the channel there, 288. On to KEFI, which seems to get daily crackpot coverage and still rising despite that, I suppose. Here you can see that we bounced off basically the old support area, 1.15 to 1.2 pence. Above that, looking to break a resistance line there at 1.45. Then hopefully the floodgates will open to a proper move and a retest of 2 pence. Perhaps 2 pence by the end of next month might be pushing it, but at least the 1.5, 1.6 area over the coming weeks seems to be doable, especially as we've had a bear trap gap reversal. So going slightly lower than we did in October and then gapping higher. So it looks as though there's a bit of a squeeze there in that situation. Moving on to MobilityOne, where we've had another push to the upside. Obviously, this was a bit of a sort of theoretical discussion in terms of how far the shares could go. We were plumping for 14 pence and plumping for that while the shares were up above recent support around the 6 to 7 pence area. Looks as though that could still be doable, perhaps as soon as the end of this month. On to Solvonis, and here picture is that of a bounce above a falling 50-day line and a RSI 50 plus rebound. So looks as though this is a bull flag, and it looks as though we could get up as high as the 0.46 level, maybe by the end of next month, while we're above that 50-day moving average at 0.27. Good moves in the following stock, i.e. Vault Ventures, and here you can see that we hit our first target there at the top of the falling trend channel at 1.19 pence. Above that, we have been looking for the 200-day line and the upper parallel of that falling trend channel at 1.64, and looking for that by the end of this month or even sooner than that. But the ideal scenario is that we stay at least above the 1.3 pence level on an end-of-day close basis. Finishing off with another Colin Bird special. In this case, it is Xtract Resources. With a bear trap rebound from below September support there at 0.62, above the 50-day line 0.66. We're looking for the shares to at least get back to the 1 penny level, hopefully as soon as the end of this month, and doing that hopefully with the backing of an RSI 50 plus rebound as well. So a bit of a bull flag breakout outside of the 200-day moving average at 0.77 there. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.